to not let blacks not blacks
forget about you're talking about blacks and interracial marriage.
Sure.
Let's talk about the founding fathers. I understand morality, but they all had slaves.
Well,
is that because that was in the Bible? How did they, how are you able to pass morality?
Well, the Bible talks about free and bond. Okay.
Right, there's slaves in the Bible, is what I'm saying.
Right.
We
it's
know
like there's employees and bosses today.
Right. But slavery is not okay. I mean, in the form that we had it. When you read Larry,
it was cultural. I mean, they're talking about the cultures of that day.
Right.
Well, our founders we're talking about now.
During the American Revolution, there was widespread slave ownership, predominantly in the South.
But that wasn't okay.
That was a major bone of contention between the 13 colonies.
It was north and south.
There was
slave ownership.
Very true.
And in our Constitution, it was written that a black individual was 3/5 of a human being.
But thanks to the framers' vision, they provided a means for amending the Constitution, properly amending it, getting it ratified by the states. And it took 90 years. But that wrong was righted. And again, we can credit our framers' vision of freedom and limited government.
Okay, fine. But my question here is with gay rights.
That's homosexual, Chris. If we're going to use slang, then we'll start throwing around fag and queer.
Larry, what do you use?
I like sodomite because that's what God said.
Well, that's right out of the book. See, that's not slang.
I'll use my words. You guys, I let you use your words. I'm going to say gay rights. And I'm going to Larry here. As far as modern day, if gay rights progress to where marriage is okay, what happens to, in your assessment, the moral fabric of this country?
Well, like I said, pulls a finger right out of the dike, and all the water comes through that dam, just explodes, and now you have every deviancy that you could possibly want. Because how are you going to justify? Where's your moral base at? You're just going to keep lowering it and lowering it and lowering it. And that's what sodomy does. The sodomites say basically lower the moral base by making community depraved.
So
you go to any sodomite parade, you'll see the wickedness and deviance. Go to my website, go to YouTube and check it out. I mean,
okay, you go to the Pride parades. You were at the St. Pete one.
Yeah, I was up in New York at the Rochester one also.
What do you do when you go to these parades?
Well, we usually have a banner with some scripture on it, and we preach to them, and we warn them of the judgment to come.
And what is the reaction you get?
Well, there's mixed. A lot of the reaction is a negative because they're justifying their sin. They're there promoting and glorifying their sin, and we're out there telling them it's wrong. All right, telling them God, frowns upon it, and He actually thinks it's detestable and an abomination. So you're ruining their party. Now they don't like it, so they try to get rid of you. They try to use the government. St. Pete, the sodomites in St. Pete got the city government to basically get us out of there. And then when they said, well, wait a minute, we want to have signs too, so then the city changed it so they could have banners and so forth before and after the parade. See, they kind of like tailored and bent over for the sodomites, basically. And
that was a figure of speech, Chris.
Yeah, I think we all caught that in the finger in the dike as well.
Well, it's true, because they basically swayed to whatever the sodomites wanted. All right, and then as a result, they had these signs that you could have to be bigger than not as big as your torso, and then 5 guys got arrested.
In other words, you had rules that you had to abide by. But
well, when there's harassment, it was very clearly it's harassment. I mean,
but under free speech, is he not allowed? Is he allowed to protest or whatever he wants? Under free speech,
there's absolutely no doubt. There's no
What kind of harassment is there, though?
Well, it's harassment when you have amplified sound.
So you're talking at the megaphone?
It's harassment.
Amplified sound
over a certain decibel, because it does get painful, right?
It's certainly part of it.
What's the difference?
And, there are so many straight people, so many different people at the Pride events. Larry likes to lump everybody into one group, and it is a very enjoyable, family-oriented day. St. Pete Pride was an incredible event, and there's A to Z in the gay community. There's no doubt about it. You have some extreme people out there. It's called tolerance. You have extreme positions in the straight world too. You look at just recently, Chris. The sexuality is not black and white. It's got everything in between. Alfred Kinsey did a great study in the mid-50s about the Kinsey 6, the 6, you're either all the way on one extreme straight, all the way on one extreme gay, or you're somewhere in the middle. But then you look at all the hypocrites that have been surfaced lately. You look at State Representative Bob Alley. Allen, who got recently caught in the East Coast soliciting a policeman for
Mark Foley.
So he was
Mark Foley.
He's calling
Yeah,
sodomites hypocrites
Mark Foley,
now.
Who ran against the Constitution Party candidate
David
that
Vitter,
pretended
you look
to
at
be
the
heterosexual.
the Louisiana state senator whose phone number was on the D.C. Madam list.
Okay.
The reason they're hypocrites is because these are the people that have been big proponents for all of this.
But they bring up a good issue here.
I made my point on
you guys,
society.
well, no, but you bring up a good point on issue. Let's say we okay gay marriage.
Sure.
Where is the morality drawn? In other words,
What's the standard?
what is there a standard, or is there no standard where it's okay? Just
same-sex
You know what I'm
couples who
saying?
want to have legal recognition of their relationships are not looking to have relationships with goats or dogs or cats or any other types of animals. What they want is for their relationships to be recognized by the government, where they have Social Security benefits, where they have the opportunity to power of attorney,
right, past property if
past
something
property,
happens.
You'll subsidize their
And the
relationships.
irony out of all of this is on May the 17th, 2004, the state of Massachusetts passed, it was the first state to pass gay marriage, not civil unions. And it's kind of ironic that in Massachusetts it happens to also be the state that has the lowest divorce rate in this country.
And it ain't because of the homosexual marriage.
Well, and the highest divorce rates in this country are from the Bible Belt in this country. So, you can throw all of the rationalizations out when you look at those kinds
Now
of
you
things.
So
said
that's his justification?
Well, we just covered about 4 different points,
Go ahead,
all of
Bert.
which need to be addressed.
Go ahead.
You asked about the impact on society. This will destroy society.
In what way?
It will destroy a whole planet.
Absolutely.
Take
Well,
Uranus,
explain.
for example.
Give us what would happen. Give me the
We've
scenario.
had gay
I
marriage
wanna,
for 3 years.
Oh, wait, let Bert finish.
Well, I
It'll
want to know
destroy
what's
society.
happened in 3 years.
In what way?
What they're doing is separating marriage from procreation and propagating the species. Okay, marriage predates laws and governments. It is an essential part of God's nature. Society needs children, and the marital bond is essential to the procreation and proper rearing of children.
Okay, but you're a Constitution Party
candidate. This is God's
candidate, though.
nature.
Okay.
This isn't party. This isn't government. This predates
What
the
is
law.
their freedom as a Constitution Party candidate? What is their freedoms? What can they do? Let's say you say they can't get married, right?
Well, again, I already addressed
they
that.
American
The
citizens?
Constitution
They're
allows
citizens.
them all the same rights
That's right.
of any citizen. Life, liberty.
But Larry, would you advocate any kind of punishment?
For what?
You
Should
just
the
said
government
sodomites. You
intervene
said
in
sodomy. Yeah,
sodomy,
right.
for example? I think
Should there be an
it's
Abu Ghraib? Should there be?
No, no. I'm just saying.
Wasn't sodomy
where they
illegal?
could all,
Isn't sodomy illegal in most state laws?
Actually,
There are-
it was
there are
no, 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 no,
states
no.
that
the federal
The
government, like,
Supreme
kind of
Court
usurps
completely eliminated all sodomy laws
And
in
that
like
makes
about
it
4 or
right in
5 or
God's
6
eyes.
years ago.
See, we got the big lawgiver. It's called God. And I tell you, he doesn't take kindly to that. And he says the sentence for that's hell. All right?
Well,
and a reprobate mind, you know what a reprobate mind is? When your conscience doesn't work.
He's
All right?
also
And
going
that's
to
what
be the
this
one that
brings you to-
judges, Larry. It's
what's
not
that?
going to be up to you or anybody else in
So-
this life to make those
you don't think
judgments.
you
Mention
should
again,
judge?
federal government involvement. There's nothing in the Constitution that says the federal government can make judgments on relationships, particularly sexual relationships, and the state's rights to regulate.
So that's up to the states.
That, I think
So it's a state level. It's a state level
Which is
issue.
why- which is why it's being handled on a
there
statewide
was
level
a case
right now.
in, what was it, Texas, where the police came in and found a couple
That's
men
one of them.
sodomizing.
That's one of them.
And
Happened in Georgia
Fort
too.
Lauderdale.
and it was appealed
bathrooms.
all the way up to the United States Supreme Court. And in that case, they struck down the lower court ruling. It was
What
perhaps
was
a
the
narrow
lower
decision.
court's ruling that they struck down?
I'm not intimately familiar with it.
No, I think
read this.
originally, Chris, they did uphold the arrests of those gentlemen, but Hardwick versus Bowers is the case that comes to mind in Georgia. That was the case that overturned all sodomy laws in the U.S. So that happened, I want to say, in the mid-latter 90s.
I don't know that it necessarily overturned them all again.